Good evening, good evening, good evening, my YouTube family. Good evening. It is Tuesday. What's today? Tuesday, March the 9th. You know what time it is, y'all. It is Keeping Up with Congress. And you know, I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. Please hit that like button. Please hit the share. Hit the subscribe and the notification button if you hadn't already done so. Thank you for joining me tonight. As usual, you know, we are holding them accountable. We are looking for opportunities in legislation. Where is the money, y'all? Who is it going to? And how do we get some of it? Of course, you know, this is, let me make my screen larger, brought to you by Withhold the Vote, where we're holding our elected officials and candidates accountable. No more are we going to be pimped at the polls, y'all. No more. We are not giving this thing away for free. No more. Not. We are harnessing our political power. So thank you for joining me tonight. Hey, Cynthia, thank you for joining me tonight. All right, let's get this party started. Let's see here. I always like to bring you some reparations information. So guess what? Last night we were talking about Evanston, Illinois, and they were to have a vote on yesterday, and I didn't find any information, but I did find this today that the Evanston reparation vote by City Council is scheduled for March the 22nd. I was looking for it, y'all. I was like, where's this vote? Did they actually vote on it over in Evanston? It says initially there were reports the city council will vote on the measures at its Monday night meeting. The city council said the information was incorrect and that the vote was scheduled for a meeting on March the 22nd. So I will be keeping up with Evanston. It says if it passes, Evanston will become the first U.S. city to use marijuana revenue for reparations. So we know this is not reparations, y'all, but that's what they're calling it. And we're going to get what we can, I guess, but this ain't true or pure reparations, but we'll keep our eyes on Evanston and what they're doing over in Illinois. I wanted to bring you this opinion I found. I thought, you know, it's always good to know how others are thinking and what they're saying about reparations so we can counter some of this stuff. Like we got to know how to come back at them. So this one says reparations is a bad idea. G. Bomer, who's written this opinion. He said, I never owned a slave. I'm sure my father never owned a slave, and really sure my grandfather or great grandfather never owned a slave. There are no actual slaves left from the 1860s. So I guess the money would go to the descendants. How exactly would that work? They have to prove they are a direct descendant of a slave. What about the blacks? Y'all know how I feel about that word. What about the blacks who lived in the North? They were never really slaves. So would they get paid too? And what about blacks that immigrated after the Civil War? Would they also get paid? And their descendants get paid as well? The whole thing seems like it would be really divisive to the country. Just a really bad idea. Yeah. Yeah, I just, you know, we just got to know how they think. You know, some of these people I might have to send him some reparations information. Who is he? Brain nerd, G. Bomer. I'll save this one, y'all. I might have to reach out to him. I'll keep y'all posted if I send him a little something because he's just way off. So we also saw last night where Senator Duckworth. Oh, wait a minute. There's another one. I wanted to read this one to you too. Readers write, reparations are not kosher. Somebody else ain't happy with reparations, y'all. He goes on to talk about how, says every glass ceiling in both the workplace and government was broken years ago. There are African-American CEOs of multi-billion-dollar corporations, billionaires, and millionaires. We elected Barack Obama president 13 years ago in 2008. Senator Kamala Harris was elected vice president. It has been common for decades to find African-American citizens holding senior management positions in government and business. There is now a large, growing, and prosperous African-American middle class. He don't know the data. We look good. We look good. We look good. Another one, y'all. Larry Penner. I don't know who he is, but he thinks this is reparations is not kosher. So he says. I tell you. So last night we were talking about Senator Duckworth, Tammy Duckworth, Democrat out of Illinois, and she introduced the Springfield Race Riot National Monument Act legislation. And I was curious to know, I said that we appreciate her initiatives in recognizing the Springfield race riots, but we were curious to know if Senator Duckworth, I was curious, y'all. I told you I was writing that down. Is Senator Duckworth is she a co-sponsor for Senate Bill 40? The Commission to Study and Develop Reparations Proposal for African Americans Act. So I'm like, let's see if she really all about it. Is she about it? Let's see. So I looked it up and she about it, y'all. Senator Duckworth, Tammy, she got her name on S40. We'll take it. I don't know a whole lot about her, but I see we got some Chicagoland, some Illinoisans in the chat over here. Y'all know something about her. But Senator Tammy Duckworth does have her name on S40. And I've been looking for Senator Raphael Warnock and Senator John Ossoff. Neither of them have their names on it. But Tammy Duckworth, she got her name on it. So we appreciate all that she is trying to do for those of us who are Black in this country, that all-encompassing word. We'll give her some credit. I don't know who she is, but I wanted to find out if she was really about it, and she is. So we'll take it. So let's dive into the House bills, y'all. We're going to start out with H.R. 691, expanding the opportunity through Pre-Apprenticeships Act. This is Tony Cardenas, Democrat out of California, expanded opportunity through Pre-Apprenticeships Act. Y'all, pre-apprenticeship is a program or a set of services designed to prepare individuals to enter and succeed in a registered apprenticeship program. I told you I really appreciate apprenticeship programs. So this pre-apprenticeship helps individuals meet the entry requirements for apprenticeship programs and ensure they are prepared to be successful in their apprenticeship. So getting people, the skills they need, and, plumbers and electricians. I tried to get my youngest son to take an electrical program through an apprenticeship. He just would not do it. I tried though. He's like, Mom, I'm not interested. I'm like, boy, I don't care. Just do it. He wouldn't, y'all. He didn't want to hear it. But I do believe in apprenticeship. So HR 691, Tony Cardenas, a Democrat out of California. HR 692, the recognition of local interest in NEPA decision-making. NEPA decision-making. This is Representative Liz Cheney, Republican out of Wyoming. NEPA, y'all. Let's find out. NEPA, the purpose of NEPA is to declare a national policy which will encourage productive and enjoyable harmony between man and his environment, to promote efforts which will prevent or eliminate damage to the environment and biosphere and stimulate the health and welfare of man, to enrich the understanding of the ecological systems, and natural resources important to the nation, and to establish a council on environmental quality. So this is NEPA. So he wants to the recognition of local interest in NEPA. Republican Liz Cheney out of Wyoming. HR 693, the San Gabriel Mountains Foothill and Rivers Protection Act. This is Representative Chu, Democrat out of California. San Gabriel Mountains Foothill and River Protection Act. I told you I take very special interest in food, air, water, and land. Everything else, we gonna work it out. But hell, we need to make sure we get it right with food, air, water, and land. So let's see what this is. This bill establishes the San Gabriel National Recreation Area in California as a unit of the national park system, consisting of 49,387 acres of federal lands and interest in land. So this is some federal land over in California. This is Representative Chu, Democrat out of California. H.R. 694, the Metro Accountability and Investment Act, Representative Gerald Connolly, Democrat out of Virginia, Representative Gerald Connolly. Metro Accountability and Investment Act. This is him. This is he, Gerald Connolly, Virginia's 11th. So this Metro Accountability and Investment Act is a balanced proposal, so he says, that recognizes the federal government's responsibility to the funding, safety, and the reliability of Metro. The Metro Accountability and Investment Act would reauthorize the Passenger Rail Investment Improvement Act, funding for 10 years, and provide additional federal funding contingent on safety and oversight reforms, including strengthening the Office of the Inspector General. Yeah, somebody, this is why we have to keep our eyes on Congress, y'all, because these people are in Congress taking care of their own. Not to say that's what he's doing, but H.R. 694, Metro Accountability and Investment Act, Gerald Connolly. H.R. 695, the USPS Fairness Act, Representative Peter DeFazio, Democrat out of Oregon. The USPS Fairness Act. And this one talks about, let's see, this bill repeals the requirement that the United States Postal Service annually prepay future retirement health benefits. So this bill repeals the requirement that the U.S. Postal Service annually prepay future retirement health benefits. It repeals that. So they were, putting some pressure on the Postal Service to prepay the retirement health benefits. So this is to repeal that. Representative DeFazio, Peter DeFazio, United States Postal Service, HR 695. HR 696, the CARES Windfall for the Wealthiest Repeal Act. For the wealthiest, y'all. Representative Lloyd Doggett, Democrat out of Texas. Let's see what this is talking about. Okay, so it goes on to say this bill to urge the House and Senate leadership to repeal a massive tax giveaway for a small number of extremely wealthy taxpayers that Republicans slipped into must-pass pandemic relief legislation last year. They were slick with it, y'all. The members call for funds to flow to Americans fighting to make ends meet in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, not rich real estate investors and hedge fund managers. To unwind the tax giveaway and redistribute its benefits to working Americans, the members introduced the CARES Windfall for the Wealthiest Repeal Act. Rich people getting richer, y'all. Rich people getting richer. This is why we have to keep up with Congress, because rich people just keep getting richer and poor people just stay damn poor. These special interest giveaways will confer over 80% of the benefits to just 43,000 taxpayers, each earning at least $1 million per year. So 43,000 taxpayers that's earning $1 million a year getting benefited, y'all. We urge you to repeal these unwarranted tax cuts. Goes on to say this would save over $250 billion, which should be repurposed to help Americans who have lost income due to the pandemic and its economic fallout. Rich people getting richer, y'all. Damn it, yeah, repeal it. CARES Windfall for the Wealthiest Repeal Act. Representative Lloyd Doggett, Democrat out of Texas. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. HR 697, Stop Subsidizing Multi-Million-Dollar Corporate Bonuses Act. Wow. You see, Representative Doggett, these folks got paid under this Trump administration, y'all. So this act this was a article that I found. This was from 2017, but this is something they don't. The actual legislation is not here yet. You see, I'm right. So the specifics is not here, but Democrats introduced legislation to end tax breaks for multi-million-dollar CEO bonuses. So here's how it works, y'all. I did read this one really well. The legislation would prevent publicly traded corporations from deducting the cost of multi-million-dollar bonuses from their corporate tax bills. Y'all, so here's how they do it. So under the current tax law, when a publicly traded corporation calculates its taxable income, it is typically allowed to deduct the cost of compensation from its revenues up to a limit of $1 million for the company's most senior executives. However, many public corporations are able to avoid those limits and deduct executive compensation over that amount if it is considered performance-based compensation. So they're reclassifying this money so that they could deduct it. So for example, if a CEO receives $1 million in cash compensation and $14 million in performance-based compensation, the company's taxable income would decline $15 million that year. With the current corporate tax rate at 35%, the company would thus receive a tax reduction of $5.25 million. Like I say, rich people keep getting rich, and the rest of us just stay damn it poor. So they've been fighting this for a long time, but like I said, under the Trump administration, I'm sure a lot of people, they just, this wasn't going nowhere then. So maybe it'll go somewhere now. Representative Lloyd Doggett, Democrat out of Texas, HR 697. HR 698, the EV Charge Act of 2021. This is Representative Doggett again. EV Charge. I had to look this one up too. This deals with electrical vehicle charging. So this was a bill from last Congress, the EV Charge Act of 2019. So I'm just 2 Congresses ago. So let's see what this says. Actually, that was last Congress, the 16th. This is the 117th Congress. So yes, last Congress. It says this bill reinstates and extends through 2024 the 30% tax credit, for the cost of alternative fuel vehicle refueling property. So this is for these electric vehicles and the charging. Representative Lloyd Doggett, Democrat out of Texas. That's HR 698. HR 699, the Mutual Fund Litigation Reform Act. Y'all, some of this stuff requires a whole lot of time to look it up. It really does. The Mutual Fund Litigation Reform Act. Look this one up. This will support Americans' mutual fund investments. The legislation improves litigation requirements to reduce frivolous lawsuits against firms who are already heavily regulated to ensure investor protection. So it goes on to talk about why it says mutual funds are the go-to financial product for millions of Americans. Not a whole lot of them, I know, but okay. Approximately 56 million households in America own mutual funds. These funds are heavily regulated and are often subject to excessive and unfounded lawsuits known as Section 36B suits. Abuse of this legal means of recourse can cost millions of dollars, costs which are borne by investors and results in needless paperwork and administrative costs that would otherwise be spent on asset growth and improved returns for investors. So they're protecting the firms against frivolous lawsuits. I tell you, when these people get to Congress, they do the bidding for the people that sent them there. HR 699, Representative Tom Emmer, Republican out of Minnesota. HR 700, to designate the facility of the United States Postal Service located at 303 East Mississippi Avenue in Elmwood, Illinois, as the Lawrence M. Larry Walsh Senior Post Office. So they're renaming the post office. HR 700, Representative Bill Foster, Democrat out of Illinois. HR 701, Unfunded Mandates Accountability and Transparency Act. A lot of this stuff gets pretty complicated, but we're going to work through it. We're going to know where the money is going. We're going to keep up with Congress. HR 701, Unfunded Mandates Accountability and Transparency Act. Let's see, I did look this one up. Okay, here it is. The Unfunded Mandates Accountability and Transparency Act. This bill will reduce excessive unfunded government mandates on job creators. This is their logic for it, the Republicans. This bill will reduce excessive unfunded government mandates on job creators, giving them greater freedom to invest in their companies and hire new workers. Sounds like rhetoric. When the federal government imposes unnecessary and burdensome regulations, it determines employers' ability to hire more workers, more and more rhetoric, and makes it harder for American workers to find jobs. This legislation will free employers from stifling government mandates and help them create more jobs and compete globally. Oh, whatever. Let's go back. What is he saying? This is the Unfunded Mandates Accountability and Transparency Act. Yeah, but here's the language in the bill, right? It says specifically the bill requires federal agencies to prepare and publish in the Federal Register an initial and final regulatory impact analysis prior to promulgating any proposed or final major rule. The analysis must include regulatory alternatives to the rule. So they're making they're putting some more stipulations on this agency. So I don't see where they're doing more. I don't see where this is all this rhetoric that they make it out to be. Keeping up with Congress, HR 701. The Republicans say they want to eliminate red tape and barriers to entry, but I don't know about this one. HR 701. HR 702 to direct the Secretary of Labor to award grants. There goes some money, y'all. To develop, administer, and evaluate early childhood education apprenticeships. Told you I'm a big proponent of apprenticeships. It's a Republican. Let's see what they're talking about. Award grants to develop, administer, and evaluate early childhood education apprenticeships. Representative Brett Guthrie, Republican, out of Kentucky. Okay. What is this going to the schools? What for? And it says for other purposes. Who is this going to? Early childhood education apprenticeships. Is this some offshoot? Is this some company that wants to train and prepare early childhood educators? I don't know. Representative Guthrie, I have a lot of questions for you. HR 702. HR 703, the Apprenticeship Futures for All Act. Representative Jaya Paul, Democrat out of Washington. Apprenticeships, again, are structured training programs which give you a chance to work literally towards a qualification. They help you gain the skills and knowledge you need to succeed in your chosen industry. And it goes on to say getting into employment earlier means there's lots of potential for you to progress in your career quickly. So that's what an apprenticeship is all about, quote unquote, as Google says. HR 703. HR 704, the Arts Act. Representative Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat out of New York. This is the Arts Act. This bill directs the Copyright Office to waive various copyright registration related fees for works that win certain competitions sponsored by the congressional institution or established by Congress. So you got to win a competition that's sponsored by the Congressional Institute or established by Congress to have your fees waived at the Copyright Office. This is interesting. Democrat Jeffries, shaking my head, scratching my head. Okay, Democrat out of New York, Hakeem Jeffries, the Arts Act. HR 704. HR 705, the Heartbeat Protection Act of 2021. This is Representative Mike Kelly, Republican out of Pennsylvania. This is surely an abortion bill. I tell you, we see that a lot. We see a lot of abortion bills, abortions, veterans, immigration, national security, gun legislation, and these streamlining of these processes in Congress. So Let's see, this is a heartbeat bill, heartbeat protection bill. A heartbeat bill or fetal heartbeat bill is a controversial form of abortion restriction legislation in the United States, which makes abortions illegal as soon as the embryonic or fetal heartbeat can be detected. So there it is, Representative Mike Kelly, Republican out of Pennsylvania. HR 706, Emergency Support for Substance Use Disorders Act. Emergency Support for Substance Use Disorders Act. Representative Custer, Ann Custer, Democrat out of New Hampshire. You know, I think about the crack epidemic and how all of us just, the Black community just went totally ignored. But they got some emergency support for Substance Use Disorders Act. Okay, Representative Custer, Ann Custer, HR 706. HR 707, Ghost Army Congressional Gold Medal Act. I didn't know who this Ghost Army was, but I looked them up. It's actually a special on PBS about them. So it says war, deception, art, and glory come together in this documentary. This was on PBS. Film The Ghost Army, the astonishing true story of American GIs, many of whom would later have illustrious careers in art, design, and fashion, who tricked the enemy with rubber tanks, sound effects, and carefully crafted illusions during the Second World War. So they were playing tricks on them during the war. So they call them the Ghost Army. Interesting. Never heard of them, but okay. The Ghost Army. HR 707. HR 708, the Treat Act. Representative Robert Lotta, Republican out of Ohio. So this Treat Act, which is the temporary reciprocity to ensure access to treatment, the Treat Act. It would provide temporary licensing reciprocity for healthcare professionals for any type of services provided to a patient located in another state during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is the temporary reciprocity to ensure access to treatment act, the Treat Act. Representative Robert Lotta out of Ohio. HR 709, the Border Crisis Prevention Act of 2021. Border Crisis Prevention Act of 2021. When I see a Republican name on the Border Crisis Prevention Act, I don't know what that quite means. Representative Debbie Lesko, Republican out of Arizona. But it says this bill is to amend the Immigration and Nationality Act to reform certain asylum procedures. Wonder what those asylum procedures might be. Interesting. HR 709, Border Crisis Prevention Act. We're almost at the half hour, y'all. We made it keeping up with Congress. HR 710, Coronavirus Containment Corpse Act. Coronavirus Containment Corpse Act. Y'all, that always kind of disturbs me. I just think sometimes there's some overreach with this coronavirus. And I know they're trying to keep everybody safe. We're in the midst of a pandemic. I get it, but I don't like the overreach. So containment, I don't like that word at all. But let's see. I found that this was introduced over in the Senate by Elizabeth Warren and some others. But it says a federal contact tracing workforce to stop the spread of COVID-19 and put unemployed Americans back to work in their communities. So I just don't like that word containment. I don't know what that means. It makes me think of isolation and, forced isolation. I don't like that word containment, but here it is, HR 710, Coronavirus Containment Corpse Act. Representative Andy Levin, Democrat out of Michigan. So we made it, y'all. We're at the half hour mark. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. So tonight, y'all, go over. I gave him a shout out last night. I'm going to give him another shout out tonight. And every chance I can get, I will absolutely be shouting out Be the Power. If you have not subscribed to that channel here on YouTube, please do. Be the Power. Go over tonight. They got a big rumble. They're going to get ready to rumble over there on on that broadcast. They got a debate that's gonna be fire. I think it's gonna be fire. So I'm gonna tune in. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel, shout out to my brothers over at Be the Power. Be the Power, doing it big, y'all, doing it big. So again, I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. Of course, I'll be back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern to 7:30, right here on YouTube. Make sure that you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, make sure you go to the website and support our efforts. We got to hold these people accountable. We got to let them know that 2022 is right around the corner and we ain't going to be caught slipping. There's a lot of bills that's coming down the pike. I've been keeping up with Congress and taking some notes. There's some few, some of them we're going to have to call them out on at some point or another. So we're going to be ready in 2022, but we can't do this by ourselves. If you haven't gone to the website, I've asked you to go to the website and donate and support and be a part of what we're doing. It is withholdthevote.org. And of course, like I said, I'll see you tomorrow night. Make sure that you tune in. I'll be right back here at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And I will put all your comments on the screen on the way out. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you.